Today we're diving deep into Surah At-Takāthur. It's chapter 102 of the Qur'an, and it's only 8 verses long, but don't let that fool you. It packs an unbelievably powerful warning about how that constant chase for more can distract us from what truly matters, and, of course, the ultimate accountability we're all going to face. We're going to really break this down, not just as a casual reading, but as a forensic analysis of the text and its classical commentaries. Okay, let's jump right in. We start with the very first verse, and it is a stark, powerful opening that just immediately sets the tone. This one line, it perfectly captures the core diagnosis of the human condition that the entire surah is about to unpack. This all-consuming, competitive pursuit of, more of everything.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with a quick intro to the surah and get into the nature of this worldly rivalry. Then, and this is fascinating, we'll explore the idea of different levels of certainty. From there, we'll see what the surah says about the hereafter and wrap it all up with the profound concept of being held accountable for every single blessing.
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. To really feel the weight of this short but incredibly potent surah, we have to understand its central warning right from the get-go. You see, the core idea here, according to the classical commentators, isn't just a critique of being wealthy. It's a profound warning against a specific state of mind. It's about being so completely lost in the race for stuff, for status, for followers, that you become totally heedless of the bigger picture, the higher spiritual realities and the real purpose of your existence.
The very name of the surah, At-Takāthur, is built on this key term. And it doesn't just mean increase or a lot of stuff. The form of the Arabic word itself implies something mutual, something competitive. It's the act of trying to one-up each other, of boasting about who has more. It's a total obsession with quantity over any kind of quality, substance, or real purpose.
So, how does this rivalry actually work? Well, the first 2 verses just lay it all out for us. They define both the nature of the distraction and its inevitable, non-negotiable end. And there you have it. In just 2 short lines, we get this complete, concise diagnosis of a life lived in total heedlessness. This rivalry, this Takāthur, it's presented as this relentless chase that just eats up your entire life, only to be stopped by the one event nobody can dodge, death.
The precision of the language here is just incredible. The word used for distracts is al-hakam. Now, this isn't just getting a little sidetracked. Its root, lahwa, means a diversion that is so absorbing, so all-consuming, it makes you completely forget your real duties and your purpose. By its very nature, it's pointless. It's devoid of any real, lasting benefit.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. The commentators point out a crucial linguistic difference between lahwa and another Arabic word for diversion, laib. You could translate laib as play. Think of a child's game. It has rules, a structure, and often a real purpose, like helping them develop. Lahwa, on the other hand, is fundamentally aimless. So by calling Takāthur a form of lahwa, the Qur'an is making a really severe judgment call. This competitive hoarding isn't just a game, it's a spiritually bankrupt and ultimately pointless activity.
And this gets to the very heart of the commentator's point. The Qur'an is not condemning wealth or family or status in and of themselves. I mean, these can be incredible blessings. The problem happens when the human heart elevates them from being a means to a higher goal to being the ultimate goal itself. The moment that switch flips, they become lahwa, a profound, life-wasting distraction.
This brings us to the end of the game. The phrase, until you visit the graves. This isn't about literally taking a trip to a cemetery. It's a powerful, poetic metaphor for death. It marks the moment the game just stops. The points don't matter anymore, and that lifelong distraction comes to a sudden, irreversible halt.
Now the surah takes a dramatic turn. It's diagnosed the sickness of distraction, and now it moves on to describe the cure, a true, deep perception of reality. And this section introduces a really profound idea that there are 3 distinct hierarchical levels of certainty.
Just listen to the forcefulness here. The word kala, translated as no. It's not a gentle no. It's a powerful rebuke, a spiritual jolt meant to wake the listener up. The verses are emphatically warning that a time of knowing is coming. And then there's this lament. If only people possessed even the first level of true knowledge right now, their entire life, their entire state would be completely different.
So this brings up a great question, right? We tend to think of certainty as an on or off switch. You're either sure or you're not. So how can it come in degrees? Well, the commentators explain that these levels aren't about the truth itself. That's absolute. It's about our mode of perceiving that truth. So, the classical commentators outline this very clear three-stage progression of perception. It kicks off with rational, intellectual knowledge. Then it graduates to the certainty of direct first-hand observation. And finally, it reaches its peak with the absolute certainty of direct personal experience. Let's break each of these down.
Okay, level 1, ilm al-yaqeen, or knowledge of certainty. This is intellectual certainty. It's when you know something is true because of its effects or because a reliable source told you. The classic analogy they use is seeing smoke rising from behind a mountain. You haven't actually seen the fire, but based on the evidence, the smoke, you have knowledge of certainty that a fire exists. This is the kind of knowledge we can get in this life through revelation and reason.
Now, level 2, ayn al-yaqeen, takes it up a notch. The word ayn literally means eye. This is the certainty of direct sight. To stick with our analogy, this is no longer just seeing smoke, this is walking over the mountain and seeing the burning flames with your own two eyes. The knowledge isn't based on a sign anymore, it's observational.
And that brings us to the final and most profound level, haqq al-yaqeen, the truth or reality of certainty. This is purely experiential. It's not enough to see the fire anymore. This is feeling its heat, being touched by it, maybe even being consumed by it. At this stage, there's no separation between you and the reality you're observing. It's total immersive experience.
The surah then takes this whole framework of certainty and applies it to the realities of the afterlife. And this is the part where an abstract concept becomes terrifyingly concrete. So here, the Qur'an makes an absolute promise, and the Arabic grammar is stacked with layers of emphasis. It's not a maybe, it's a definitely. It states that the reality of the hellfire, al-Jahim, will be witnessed, and it even specifies the level of that witnessing, not just knowing about it, but seeing it with the eye of certainty, ayn al-yaqeen.
So what does this really mean? Well, right now, in this life, we can have ilm al-yaqeen, that knowledge of certainty, through what Revelation tells us. But the commentary emphasizes that on the Day of Judgment, that knowledge gets a mandatory upgrade for every single person. The unseen becomes seen. What was once inferred becomes directly, undeniably observed. And now the surah reaches its incredibly powerful conclusion with one final, sobering verse. It zooms out from the consequences of distraction to the all-encompassing nature of accountability, tying everything back to the blessings we're given in this life.
This final statement is the ultimate consequence, the final bill. After the life of distraction, after the shocking wake-up call of death, after witnessing reality with the eye of certainty comes the final accounting. The verse is absolute. You will surely be questioned about al-na'im, the blessings.
But what exactly is al-ni'am? What are these blessings? It's really easy to think of simple material things: food, water, shelter, security. But the commentators argue that if that's all you're thinking, you're missing the vast majority of the picture. The scope of al-ni'am is so much more profound and all-encompassing.
The commentators lay out a whole hierarchy of blessings. Yes, it starts with physical health and safety, but it goes so much deeper. The very fact that you exist, that's a blessing. Your senses, your intellect, all blessings. Then you have the spiritual gifts, the guidance that came through the prophets, the Qur'an itself, and what the commentary calls the paramount blessing, wilaya, that divine guidance and spiritual authority embodied in the family of the prophet.
And this gets to the ultimate point of the exegesis. It argues that our greatest accountability isn't just for our health or wealth, but for this highest blessing. And why is that? Because divine guidance is the operating manual for how to use all the other blessings correctly. The question isn't just, what did you do with your eyesight, but did you use your eyesight in line with that guidance? Okay, so let's wrap up this deep dive by pulling it all together. The surah takes us on this incredible arc. It starts with the diagnosis of our distractions. It walks us through the levels of perceiving reality, and it culminates in this final, profound implication for how we actually live our lives. We have to end where the surah ends, with this definitive, inescapable question. It completely reframes our entire existence. Every single gift, from the automatic beat of your heart to your ability to reason, is not a personal possession. It's a trust, and a full accounting will be required. And this leaves us with the surah's ultimate challenge. It pushes us way beyond just being thankful for our blessings.
It asks us to reevaluate our entire existence. If consciousness itself is a gift we have to answer for, then living an undistracted life isn't about managing our possessions. It's about living with constant purpose, gratitude, and responsibility for the simple, miraculous fact that we exist at all.